Hello everybody in YouTube land, and welcome to a video where I am, and chat is also here, are going to be ranking our hype level for all of the cards, well not all of the cards, for some of the cards currently spoiled for the Scarlet Keys. By the time this video comes out, probably the entire box has been spoiled because of YouTube time and how things work, but this is the chunk of the cards spoiled today. I'm going to rate them out of 5 for what I think of them. I'm going to discuss all the cards. This is like my own personal hype. Like, it's not exactly like a power level, because power levels in Arkham Horror are very dependent on things that we don't see. Also, cards that also remain in the box. So it's kind of like my own excitement for the cards. And then also what I view my personal excitement and power level of what the cards are going to be based on my own thoughts, which is why chat is also here. And while I'm discussing the cards, they're going to be joining in on the discussions, and also they're going to be rating it out of 5 as well. So these are all out of 5 for this. These are all out of 5 as we get this show on the road. So, chat, we're going to start with the first card here, which is Hunter's Armor. So I'm going to start the poll, and then I am going to read the card. So Hunter's Armor, it's a 4-cost, customizable, 2/2, takes up the body slot, and commits for a brain. It's customizable, which means you can spend a bunch of your, get up a bunch of experience into it, and then upgrade the card as you see fit. So it is enchanted, so it gains the relic trait and takes up the arcane slot instead of the body slot. Hunter's Armor may be assigned damage and or horror dealt to investigators at your location. Durable, gets +2 health. Hallowed, +2 sanity. Lightweight, Hunter Armor gets -1 cost and playing it does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Hex Drinker, after 1 or more damage or horrors assigned to Hunter's Armor, from a treachery effect, you may exhaust it to draw 1 card. Armor of Thorns, after 1 or more damage or horrors assigned to Hunter's Armor from an enemy attack, you may exhaust it to deal 1 damage to that enemy. So I think the card's cool. I was starting to theory craft some customizable stuff, and I'm actually really excited to build a Tommy deck with this. Do I think the card's going to be good? I think the problem with Hunter's Armor, when I look at it, is that it's kind of just really expensive, you know? It's kind of just, it costs 4, which is not like an easy amount to play, and then also then in turn play your you know, your weapons and all that. It also can cost 3, as someone in chat is saying. It also could cost 3. That does require 2 experience for it to cost 3. And is that much better? Probably. Like, it does soak for a lot. The Tommy deck, do I have my notes here? I had a Tommy deck that I'm excited to build around with this. As I said, I'm kind of theory crafting it as it's been going. But it's not really like one of those things that I'm like looking at this and I'm like super duper hyped on it. And I'm gonna just also right now, everyone who's watching on YouTube and with people who are live here on Twitch, I'm very like muted. You're gonna see a lot of 3s here. You're gonna see a lot of Justin being like, this is to me like a 3.5. That's where we're gonna hover for a lot of things. That's just how I am. We have some, so if you have 2 copies of Hunter's Armor, you need to pay 6 to get Hex Drinker. No, you just need to pay 3. Because the customizable card, like your little customizable with all the things, those are like, it carries over from card to card there. So we have those, we have this. All right, chat, your average on that one was a 3.4, which is honestly, I think, pretty fair. I'm going to put mine as a 3, but I do think that is a pretty reasonable thing. I'm kind of like, I'm not like just meh on the card. It interests me, but it doesn't excite me. You know, I'm not like, this card is going to be super exciting. Do I think it's going to be strong? I don't know. The customizable cards, I think, are the hardest to kind of gauge the power level on, for the most part. So I do think that that is kind of what's keeping me from really, like, loving the card, you know? Alright, so next up we got Runeic Ax. Let me start the poll, and then I will read the card. So, Runeic Ax. Customizable, 4 charges. Replenish one of these charges at the start of each round. It's a 4-cost, 2-hand slot. Fight as an action. You get +1 fist for this attack. Before this attack, you may spend any number of charges to imbue the axe with that many different inscriptions. Accuracy, you get +2 fist for this attack. Power, this attack deals +1 damage. So on its own, at a level 0, it replenishes one of these. Then there's a lot of text on this card. This card has like a bonkers amount of text. It's kind of crazy. Okay, Heirloom. This axe gets -1 cost and gains the relic trait. So now it's a 3 cost. Inscription of Glory. Glory. If this attack defeats an enemy, choose 1, draw 1 card, heal 1 damage, or heal 1 horror. Elders. If this attack succeeds by an amount equal to or greater than your location's shroud, discover 1 clue at your location. Hunt. Immediately move to a connecting location or engage an enemy at your location. Fury. If this attack is successful, in addition to its standard damage, deal 1 damage to each other enemy engaged with you. Ancient Power. You may imbue the same inscription up to 3 times. Saga. Replenish of the 2 Runeic Ax charges at the start of each round instead of only 1. And then Script Weaver. For each charge spent, you may imbue the axe with 2 different inscriptions. So I believe that I did, I did some kind of like theory crafting when we first had this card to kind of look at where the power level of this compared to like Cyclopean Hammer, because like Cyclopean Hammer was like the big weapon. And I think that it was like this one had better burst damage but less consistent damage. I think was like kind of what we from that initial theory craft that we tried out was it has less. Like, you can, like, deal, like, 1,000,000 damage with charges, like, if you just spend them all, but then you're, like, kind of like, boop, boop, here's my little soft beat stick. So the question is, once again, like, the customizable cards are just really hard. They're kind of, like, just really hard to gauge what... I think what's really cool about this card is that the versatility it has, the versatility that it has in terms of how you want to focus your fighter. I saw someone, if Vincent takes Glory, that he can take this up to level 5, which is kind of sick because then like the combat Vince is an actual thing, and that actually kind of makes me interested. Yeah, also this card is insane. This card is a lot of things, right? And like with the Fury with swarming enemies, I think that there is a lot of really good stuff here. I, myself, am going to put this at a 4. I think I'm actually pretty hyped on this card. Let's see what chat has for this. All right. So we had... Ooh, chat, you are incredibly hyped for this card. This is a 4.4 for chat. Chat is very excited about the Runeic Ax. I don't blame you. The card looks, it looks really sick. It looks like a really cool card. All right, chat, let's see what we have next. Grievous Wound. Now, chat, don't get your hype out too early. Oh my god, I went too far. 1 second, we can go back. Grievous Wound. Now, chat, don't get your excitement going too much here. Okay. Grievous Wound. All right, this is a lot less that I need to talk about here. 1 cost event commits for 2 fist. Fast. After you successfully attack a non-elite enemy using a melee asset, attach Grievous Wound to the attacked enemy. Force at the end of the round, deal 1 damage to the attached enemy. So, I think, like, worst case, like, let's look at this card, like, on its worst case level, right? You have an Overpower in your hand. You have an Overpower hanging out, and it is a good time being an Overpower. It doesn't replace itself. And chat right now is saying non-elite enemy. I do think that that is kind of wild. That it's a non-elite enemy. I do like the Just, you know, having the Maniac from Carcosa bleed out also can seem like a fun idea. I think that this is really nice for, I don't even know. I think the card is, like, really cool. And I think it's really flavorful, and I think it's really fun. I just don't think it's that good, you know? Like, I think it's, like, gonna probably... You can put on the Dancers. You can put on the Dancers from Circle Undone. But then, like... So I think, like, if you're with the Dancers from Circle Undone, then you also have to evade them, right? Like, it's not really, like... Like, I think that this card exists less as something to kill high health enemies. And just, you put it on, like, a 3 health enemy after you attack it once. But that still is, like, not that great. I'm going to give this one, for me, a 2. I think I'm not that hyped for Grievous Wound. I can't even think of a spot where I'd want to use it. Maybe the Scarlet Keys campaign will change that. But I just don't think it's that, dare I say, as the kids these days are saying, poggy woggy. It's very good for Nathaniel Cho in dealing with his weakness. Yeah, I don't know if it, like, does it, how much does it do that? How much does it, because, like, I mean, I still think you just punch him 3 times, right? You just punch, Tommy Bone Malone's, or whatever his name is. What the frick is the name of, Nathaniel Cho's weakness? What is the max expected damage you get out of this? I would say, I think realistically, you are aiming with this card, Tommy Malloy, okay, not Tommy Bones McJones. I think you're aiming for, like, a 2 or a 3. I think as well, like Almarax is saying, I think realistically, this card is, like, a 3rd and 4th bad copy of Vicious Blow. Alright, let's see what chat... Ooh, chat is not happy about this card. I'll just say that right now. What the frick? I do not know who you are. Okay. We have 5 1s on that one, chat. Holy cow. You are not happy. 2.2. 2.2. Yeah, I think the best use case for this card is a time-delayed Vicious Blow, but I also don't think that is that good. Alright, let's keep this show going. We have Helping Hand. Okay. Alright, Helping Hand is... You may commit Helping Hand to any type of test. Max 1 committed per test. When Helping Hand is committed to a skill test, double the skill icons of each other card committed to that test. Alright. Yeah. Chat. I think that this card... I don't think I'm ever going to play this card. Like, this card, it's just... It does, like, nothing. Like, I know, like, people, like, it makes the number big, right? But, like... It just, like, I can't... Like, maybe, like, as someone said, I think the use case would be, like, Silas, right? Like, and then you can use it for, because it's just the skill icons. It's not another version of the card. Like, if this was on, like, if this was on, like, a Brute Force, or, Sharp Vision, or an Expeditious Retreat, like, I could see that use case with Silas. But I think that overall, it's just the icons on the card, right? The Succeed by X archetype could use it, but, like, isn't just, like, lockpicks and well-connected just a million times better than that? Like, if you're gonna, like, you know? Because most Succeed by X archetypes, you're also just a big money archetype nowadays. Yeah, I think this one, for me, I'm gonna give this one another 2. I think I'm pretty low on this card. It's pretty... unappealing to me. It's pretty unappealing to me. Oopsie. let's look at the view results. I just accidentally closed the results. Okay. 2 5s, man. I don't know what is up with some people's tap water, but I think that you're drinking like your tap water might have sugar in it. Things are just going that well for you. All right, so I gave that one a 2 in chat. You gave that a 3.2 for Helping Hand. Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, like maybe like once again, maybe I'm missing something. What about boosting Eye of Truth? But like it's just the skill icons. Like you're gonna pass the test with Eye of Truth, right? And Momentum, you're like still gonna pass the test because you're not doing like Momentum is not committed to the test you're going to fail, right? Momentum is committed to the test that you're going to pass. You're going to pass. And then it, yeah, no, I think this card just, there are so many other effects I think that just do this, would do this better, right? Like, cause like, even just like +2 to a skill test is probably better than this card most of the time. Like maybe I'm missing something, but because it's just icons, I don't see it. I personally do not see it. Oh my god, another freaking custom card. These things are a beast. Alright, Summon Servitor. Back to 3 minutes for the duration on this poll. Okay. 2 cost, takes up the ally slot and the spell slot. Customizable is additional cost to play Summon Servitor. You must discard another asset you control. Summon Servitor enters play at your location and can take 1 action during each of your turns, which can only be used to take the following action. Move it to a connecting revealed location. So it does, like, nothing at level 0. It does, like, legitimately almost nothing. Armored Carapace. Summon Servitor gains a health value of 3. Can be assigned damage dealt to any investigator at its location. Add this action, Fight. Fight with a base of 4. Ignore the aloof and retaliate keywords for this attack. Evade. Evade 4. Ignore the alert keyword for this evasion. Investigate. Book 4. Wings of Night. After Summon Servitor moves from your location to a connected location, you may move to that location as well. Dominant. Summon Servitor no longer takes up Circle 1. Dreaming Call. Instead of discarding an asset you control, return it to its owner's hand. And it can take 2 different actions instead of 1 during each of its turn. So you might think I'm crazy here, chat. You might think I'm also, there's something wrong with my tap water. But the thing that interests me most about Summon Servitor is the additional cost to play it. Because I just see that and I think, oh hey, that is, I can solve like a Doom problem. It's another Doom tool. Beyond that, I don't think it does too much for me that interests me. I think it's like a cool card. Like, I think it's neat. Is my hype for it pretty high? Probably not. I don't think the art is fantastic. We'll just take a moment, like right now, before I do it too much, but the art in this box is really, really good. Wow, we're already 20 minutes in and we've done, what, 5 cards? We might not do everything today if this is going to take this long. I think, though, for me, though, this one, I'm gonna just, like, sit kind of where I am. I think the card's cool. I'm going to give it a 2.5. I'm going to give this card a 2.5. It looks like a Space Invader. It does look... I want him as a friend. I want him... I wish he was one of my groomsmen, honestly. It is very strong with Demonic Influence. You get 2 additional actions on your turn, which is pretty strong. Yeah, but, like... I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. For me, that is 5 experience to only take 2 additional actions on your turn. Which means that you are... If you put in your first 5, and this motherfucker's just moving... Now, obviously, you don't want to put your first 5 into just that, but then it becomes 6 experience to get something else. It becomes 7 to get, like, another thing. At that point now, you probably have more efficient methods of getting things done at that experience level than this card provides. That's just my thought on this. I think just overall, cards are all, at this point now, for that much experience, good. And I think that this card is not good enough for me seeing it at that level. 3.5 for you, chat. 3.5. Wonderful, chat. It's going wonderful. All right, chat, we have another customizable card. Oh my god. Power Word. So much text. Okay. 3-cost event, commits for a book, customizable, attached to not only an enemy at your location. It's fast, play only during your turn. As an action, if attached enemies at your location parlay, give it a command. Go. This enemy moves once in the direction of your choice. Cower. This enemy exhausts. Action, Betray. Add a command. Deal 1 damage to any enemy at this location with an equal or fight lower value than this enemy. Mercy, and investigate this enemy's location. Deals damage. Heals damage or horror equal to the enemy's respective damage or horror. Confess. Discover will include this enemy's location if its health is equal to or higher than its shroud. Distract. Automatically evade any enemy at this location with an equal or lower evade value. Return it to your hand as a lightning bolt. You may activate the parlay ability on Power Word from up to 1 location away. Tongue Twister. When you parlay with Power Word, you may give up to 2 different commands. Thrice Spoken, you may include 3 copies of it in your deck. When you give a command using 1 copy, also give that command to each other enemy with 1 of your copies attached. I think this card's actually kind of not good. Now that I think about it, like, there's so many you need to find, like, the perfect enemy. And odds are, you're going to get, like, an enemy with, like, it's going to just not do the things you want it to do. And you're going to be like, why the hell did I Power Word this guy, right? I think this card's, you know what? I don't think this one, yeah, I think, like, yeah, like, the best case scenario is, like, for me, when I'm seeing this on this read here, is, and you can disengage from the enemy as an action. It's just like a testless exhaust. It's not even an evade. It just exhausts the enemy, right? It's just like, but then, like, if you don't solve the problem, that enemy still is, like, gonna hunt you, and then you have to spend an action on each turn, right? Could be nice if one of my weaknesses is an enemy. Yeah, but then the enemy's still there, and then, like, for the rest of the game, you're, like, still having to deal with it. It's just easier to just kill the guy, right? I don't think this card, I was hyped for it on my initial read, but I think now I'm kind of just, if you exhaust it, it'll still engage with you. It's not even that good. Oh yeah, you're right. I think I'm going to go with a 2 for this card. Honestly though, I'm okay. Like I said, I'm going to be lower. I'm going to be pretty low on things. That's just me. You know, but it also is kind of flashy. I'm going to go to 2.5. I'm going to up it a bit. I'm going to up it a tiny bit just because, you know, it's Christmas is coming soon. And I'm going to give it a mood. Ooh, chat, you're hyped for it. 3.8. So I got a 2.5. Chat, you gave it a 3.8. Yeah, I just don't like, I don't see what it does. Like, I just think it does nothing. But to me, I'm out of like the spoiler season mode, and now I'm starting to look at like the gameplay efficiency mode, and to me this just doesn't do anything for me and what I want to be doing when I'm playing Arkham. Ceremonial Sickle 0. Oh no! Those are not the keys to make the shortcut. Okay. So I think what excites me most, so going back to that one, there's a lot you can do with it. Tesla's clues, Tesla's damage, Tesla's evade. But, like, there's so many hoops for you to jump through. Like, you have to find, like, the perfect enemy. And then as soon as an enemy comes that doesn't do, like, it's not good enough, like, you can't, like, evade it or fight it, or, like, damage it, it's like, this card is garbage. Ceremonial Sickle, as an action, you can fight, you get +1 brain, you can use your brain, you get +1 fist for this attack. Choose 1, exhaust it, place 1 doom on it, get +1 skill value, and deal +1 damage. If this attack defeats an enemy, remove 1 doom from Ceremonial Sickle. I think it's a cool card. I think my answer is probably going to be pretty boring. I think I'm just going to give this one a 3. I'm excited for a little bit of a change, between what, like, I'm glad there's no spells that are just like, for at least so far, and I hope to God there isn't, just like the traditional, here is your mystic spell. It's nice that there's like the mystic tool, but also other investigators can take advantage of it. Yeah, basically what Tyler said. Level 0 is just alright, but glad to see a shake-up in the mystic meta. I don't think there's a better way of putting it than that. Yeah. Alright. Man, there's so much less to say about these cards. Challenge. Name a non-Marie, Amina, Diana, or Dexter investigator that wants this. Akachi. She has 3 fist. She also has 5 brain. There. Challenge successful. I've done it. Holy shit. Oh, this is so funny. That's so funny. There's so many 3s here. 3.3 chat. Yeah, okay. No, that's pretty fair. There was 10 3s on that one. I think we're all kind of exactly in the same spot. All right. I'm going to make the poll time a bit quicker as we keep this going. We have Dowsing Rod up next. So this is like the same thing as the last one. Just now you're getting clues. So it's a 4 cost, takes up a hand, commits for a book. Action, investigate, brain, or +1 book. Exhaust it, place one doom on it to move to a connecting location. If this investigator discovers the last clue, the location, remove 1 doom from Dowsing Rod. So it allows you to move. Yeah, it's like basically it has the Duke ability, and then it has the, you can discover it. You could get doom to get, you know, all this thing. It doesn't give you additional clues, but at least it doesn't, right? No, it just lets you investigate with your brain. So it's basically like level 0 Sixth Sense with just like some hoops, and probably ultimately worse. I think that overall, I'm a little bit less hyped on this one. I'm going to give this one, no, you know what, we'll just go 3 again, because I think it's the same kind of thing. I do think, though, that this one's going to be a lot easier to remove the doom, and the free move action is, I mean, like, the move actions are like the worst, some of the worst feeling actions you can take in this game. So I'm going to give it a 3. Chat is feeling it with a 3.6. They are more hyped for Dowsing Rod than they are Ceremonial Sickle. Which is fair, because there are more mystics that, you know, like, can use the book side of this. I do think that that's actually fair. At first I was like, chat, you're wild, but then I'm like, no. I can feel it. All right, we have our first investigator. Let's go 2 minutes here. Kimani Jones. So, 3/2/2/5 is a lightning bolt. You can engage and exhaust an enemy at your location. When you attempt to evade an exhausted non-lead enemy, add your book to your skill value for this attempt. If you succeed by at least X, discard that enemy. X is that enemy's remaining health. Elder Sign effect +1. If there's an exhausted enemy at your location, you automatically succeed instead. 8/6. So, their deck building is Rogue 05, Tool 04, Neutral 05. You also start with 5 additional experience at the start of the game. I'll probably forget about that at least once when I play standalone. Grappling Hook. I love Grappling Hook. It's a cool looking card. Attacks performed using Grappling Hook do not provoke attacks of opportunity. You can exhaust it. Take up to 3 different actions. Engage, evade, investigate, or move. If you investigate, use your book instead of your brain. Kimani Jones' weakness is Agent Fletcher. Well, it's Kimani Jones only, which already is a huge start. And while you're evading it, you reduce your book value to 0. So I think that Kimani Jones has a lot of potential with their card pool to be a very strong green investigator. I do think that their ability is cool, but with my initial read, it's kind of like It's good for small enemies. I think we can all agree on that, right? I think it's like really good on small enemies. And I think when it comes to big enemies, it's not going to be that hot. Because, you know, it's succeed by at least X. So you're doing it 7. Like realistically, you could probably succeed at no, that's tough. And I'm going to agree with what Chad is saying, that the flex is, yeah, they're going to sit at the flex. But at the same time, green also has the potential to kind of build however, right? Yeah, 7 is the average overall monsters in the game. Big money talks to discard chunky enemies. Yes. Yeah, no, I think like I said, I think that Kimani Jones is going to do really good with the green card pool. I'm just like talking about just their ability right now. Like with money talks, yeah, like it becomes very easy to defeat things. But then like, I don't know. I think Kimani's going to be sweet though. It's an investigator, so it's hard to be like upset about an investigator. I'm going to go 4.5. A new investigator is a great time. Like it's very hard to like look at that and be like, do you know what I want? I want less investigators in the game. Chat's a 4.2. That was the first time that I rated it higher than chat. Wow. Is that allowed? Is that allowed, chat? You're definitely supposed to use stealth? Yeah, stealth is going to be very good with Kimani. I don't think it's necessarily going to be required, because I think ultimately Kimani Jones's ability can also kind of be a trap. I think you could build a Kimani deck without ever using the ability, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Vincent Lee! Herr Doctor. Alright. 3/4/3/1. After one of your effects heals damage from an investigator or an investigator's ally asset, add one of your set-aside on the men's skills to the investigator's hand. On the men, it's an unexpected courage that basically goes back. Oh my god, the wounded bystander is covering me. I did that on purpose, though. Don't worry, chat. I did that on purpose. Eldritch Sound effect, you may heal 1 damage from an investigator or ally at your location. 9/6. Deck building is the weird Carolyn deck building, where it kind of does a lot of everything. So Seeker 0-3, Neutral 0-5, cards that heal 0-5, 15 other Guardians Survivors 0-1. And then Bonesaw. It's fight. You get +2 fists for this attack. If the attack is successful, you may take 1 damage, deal +1 damage to the attack. Great card. Great, absolutely fantastic card. Heal 5 damage for investigate location. Test book 4 if you fail, then investigator suffers 1 physical trauma. I think that this card exists for you to fail and have it so that you can start healing right away. I think that this is like, you specifically want to bomb this for like the first two or three scenarios. Like you basically want to you want to give everybody a physical trauma, at least 1. I think you want to do it every time at least once. Wounded Bystander, 5 damage. Revelation, put it to play in your threat area with 3 damage. It cannot leave play while it has damage. When you take non-direct damage, at least one of it must be assigned to Wounded Bystander, and if it's defeated, you suffer 1 mental trauma. I'd rather take in the thick of it for 2 physical trauma than waste the actions they're explicitly trying to fail. Yeah, but what if the other people don't, right? Like, I do think that you want to have everybody have some damage on them as early as turn 1 to get on the mends in everybody's hand as early as turn 1. I think that is the best way to play Vincent. I think Vincent's going to be sick. I wish Vincent had 3 book, 4 fist, so we could really lean into the Combat Seeker. But I think he's going to be really good, right? Like, an unexpected courage every turn is why we like Dream Diary. And then also not dying in the meantime also is really good as well. Vincent Lee, sick card. He's going to be my first 5. I think Vincent Lee is a really, really, really good time. I love me some Vincent Lee. Chat is also pretty hyped for Vincent with a 4.3. Chat is slightly more hyped for Vincent than they are Kimani. Just slightly. All right, I think next we got none other than Daryl Simmons. Let's go. He's a survivor. He has 5 book. What is not to love? Sorry, 2523. I mean, you know what's also to love? He has the 5/2 for Survivor Secret deck building. All right. You begin the game with Daryl's Kodak in play. During a skill test your location, you can spend 1 evidence from an asset you control. Reduce the difficulty of this test by 2. That's great. Elder side effect is +1. Place 1 evidence on an asset you control. Also really good. Daryl Simmons deck only for the Kodak. After an enemy or treachery enters play, exhaust it to place 1 resource on that enemy as a treachery. After discover any number of clues, move that many evidence on enemies or treacheries at that location to Daryl's Kodak. Ruined Film. Remove 4 evidence from cards you control. For each evidence you cannot, take 1 horror. Remove this way, take 1 horror. So notably, this card does not work like Sister Mary's or Diana's. I think Diana's works that way. I don't play that character. Is that you have to remove the evidence. So if you're building up evidence, it can be gone after that. I don't have too much to say about Daryl, other than like he's got 5 book. Dude's got 5 book. That's really good. Like it's hard to be a bad investigator when you have 5 of the most important stat in the game. And then to add it on further, he essentially can have 4 brain, 4 fist, 5 foot. Like, that's pretty sick. And then it's even better. It's not even only your skill tests. It can be other people's skill tests, which is really exciting. It's really exciting. I think the guy's very powerful. I think he's very good. I think he is just 5 for me. An easy 5 here, but that should be the surprise. That should be a surprise to nobody if they know this channel. Oh my god, chat, you are very excited for Daryl. He has a 4.6. Isn't it sad that, chat, you will never give a 5 to a card? You can't as a group. Like, maybe it'll happen, but it's unlikely. Alright. I think this is our last investigator that we have the full thing for that we can talk about. Charlie motherfucking Kane. Charlie Kane, Mr. Vampire Hunter himself. You gotta love it. Alright, Charlie. 1s across the board. He's neutral. You have 3 additional ally slots. He has 3 charismas right at the start of the game. He's that charismatic. As lightning bolt during a skill test, you're performing exhaust an ally as you control. For this test, you get +1 skill value, plus an additional 1 for each skill icon that ally has that matches this test type. Elder Sign effect +3, ready an ally asset at your location. 6/6. At deck creation, choose 2 classes, ally cards 0 to 5, neutral 0 to 5, cards from your chosen class 0 to 2, and Bonnie Walsh and Burden of Leadership. So Bonnie Walsh, 3 cost, 2/2. After you exhaust it, ready another ally asset you control. So you basically get Unexpected Courage and then ready something else. And then if you control no ally assets, shuffle a Burden Leadership into your deck. Otherwise, for each ally asset you control, either exhaust it or deal 1 damage, 1 direct damage, and 1 horror. I've seen Charlie in action with Bonnie out, and Charlie without Bonnie and with are 2 different investigators. I can see this. I can definitely respect that. Charlie intimidates me. I think I'm gonna crash and burn with Charlie on my first playthrough. Like, I'm just gonna like fucking die. But I think what's really exciting about Charlie is his super open, non-restrictive deck building. And he doesn't have a weird Lola hook, which it makes up for him having shit stats that he needs to use his allies for. I think Charlie's really fun. I think we can all agree, that like he's just really good. He's like a really good design, a really fun investigator, and I think there's like going to be a million different Charlie Kane builds, which is really exciting. I think the designers really knocked it out of the park with the Vampire Hunter. And I am very excited to see what the community and Bryn and even Travis and myself come up with as well. Charlie Kane easily gets another 5. I think Charlie Kane's a good time. Chat also gave Charlie Kane some good scores. So let's see what you gave Charlie. You have 11. 11 fives. Charlie got a 4.5, so you were a bit more hyped for Daryl. Just slightly more hyped than Daryl than you were Charlie Kane. I understand. I understand. All right, I think we're out of the big talky cards, and we can go back to nice simple stuff. I'm definitely not doing the whole thing today. Motivational speech. 0 cost event, brain and book. Parlay, choose an investigator location that investigator may play an ally asset from their hand, reducing its cost. So this is uncage the friend, right? I think this card is really good if you are planning on playing multiple allies in your deck. If it had a double symbol, this card could probably run pretty safely all the time. I know that there are people who think that this card is like an auto include. I'm not there, but I do think the card is very good. I think it's very good with people who love allies, like Tommy, like Charlie, like Leo. But if I'm only playing one ally, which a lot of decks I play have one ally, actually some decks I have don't even play allies anymore, I probably wouldn't run this. But I do think this card is... I think it is a good card. I'm going to give this one probably a 3.5 for me. I think that it is... I think it has a very good spot in the card pool. Let's see what chat gave it. 4.2. 4.2 from chat. All right. Let's keep this show going. Captivating discovery. All right, Captivating Discovery, or otherwise known as Poggy Rex, is a 1-cost event, commits for a book and a foot. Insight, search the top 6 cards of your deck. You may place up to 3 clues on your location. For each clue placed in this way, choose and add one of the 2 search cards to your hand. Shuffle your deck. This card looks better now with research notes. It's true. I think this card was really good from... I loved this card from the get-go. I do not... I ran No Stone Unturned still because it kind of just is like searching your deck is good for cards. But I think this card just completely outclassed it now. I think I'll never look back. Getting a clue is so easy and it's so much card draw. Even if at its lowest, you look at 6 and then put down 1 clue and get 2 cards, that's really nice. If you look at 6, put down 3 of your clues, and then draw 6, it's a very powerful effect. I'm giving this guy a 4 for me. I think this card's really good. Captivated Discovery is a very good time, and I'm very excited to play with it. And chat, you gave it a 3.6. You hate the card. You absolutely hate Poggy Rex. All right. I'll take that. Honestly, I forgot what this card does. This is the one that you can play an illicit card of someone else's or something. No, you play an item asset. No. No, okay, yeah, this card's good. This card's good. This card's good. Fast. Play when you just successfully evade a humanoid enemy or successfully investigate. Play an item asset from your hand, reducing its cost by X, where X is the amount you succeeded by. Attach I'll take that to that asset. It gains illicit. Card's good. So when you successfully evade a humanoid enemy, there's a lot of humanoid enemies, but as we know from things, some campaigns have more humanoid enemies than some others. I do think, this is just a hunch, that Scarlet Keys is going to have a lot of humanoid enemies. I think it's going to be very good there. But honestly, it's the... but you also just notice, but then that's the humanoid part. However, what makes this card really good is it also has the successfully investigate part of it, which means it's not just here. It's not just here on the enemy side. So it works really well for a Winifred. It works really good for a Rita, right? There's a lot of but it also works really good for a Trish Scarborough. There's a lot of really good things about this card. I think this one also is going to get another 4 from me. I think I'm very hyped for the card, and I'm very excited to play with it once I remembered what the card was. Because you might have saw it, chat. You might have seen through my grizzled persona, but I forgot what the card did. I did not remember what it did. Chat, you gave that a 4.2. You're hyped for that card. I think that's fair. I think the card is really cool, and I'm excited to see. Hey! Chad, do you remember when we spoiled this card ages ago, back in June? What an exciting time that was. Improvised Shield. Can only be played from your discard pile. When it's defeated, shuffle into your deck instead of discarding it. 3 soak. Improvised Shield. What is there to say about Improvised Shield that hasn't been said already? I think in some investigators it's going to be very good. I think in like Patrice, who might not need to use her hand slot. She can have a violin in one hand and a trash can lid in the other. And that's cool. But I think the card is kind of just, yeah, it's kind of just meh. I think I'm going to give this one a 2.5. I'm not like, it's cool, but I'm not going to, I'm excited to build an Improvised Shield deck, if that makes sense. And I'm sure it does. A 3-way tie. And chat is a 3 on this one. So currently chat hates Grievous Wound. Currently chat is not feeling the Grievous Wound. All right. Next up we got Field Agent. Field Agent. Field Agent is 4 cost, 2 experience, ally slot, 2/2 soak. You get +1 book, exhausted, and deal 1 horror to it. Discover 1 clue at your location. Yeah, beat reporter. There is a lot to like about this card. And I think there's a lot about this card that's really good, but I'm not exactly hyped about it. I'm not like, I'm so happy about this card. I think I would like it more if it was a bit more beat cop and had 3 horror. Because, honestly, even though it's like, I know in theory they're not the same. Horror, clues and damage, right? But I really feel like this could be, this could have had 3 horror and it wouldn't have broken anything, right? I feel like once again it's kind of like, I don't know. Tempo-wise, 1 clue is equivalent to 2 damage, so I think this is comparable power to beat cop. No, I agree. But the thing is, like, it's just kind of like, I look at this card and all I just see is nothing. Like, it gives you a book, which is sick. That's very good. And then it gives you like 1 clue by itself, which to me is ultimately not worth 2 experience, right? Like, I think there's a lot of people drinking some Field Agent Kool-Aid right now, because I think the card is obviously good, but I don't think it is, I don't think that it is, like, it has, like, yeah, like, unless you're, like, doing more to build around it, it doesn't really, like, do a lot. Star Terror, yeah, but the thing is, like, no, I'm going back to my point, like, I'm not, like, I'm talking about the card. I'm not talking about the decks. I'm talking about Field Agent, because I could just run, like, fucking a million things to make this card better, but this card on its own doesn't really interest me. Because, like, I just think that the card is, like, it's good. It's obviously good, but I don't think it's the hype level that chat's giving it. I'm still thinking on this, but let's see what chat, because chat gave it a lot. Chat gave it a bunch of 5s. Which means chat, just so people know, chat is as excited about this as they are for Charlie Kane. Which is wild. Which is wild. I'm going to give it a 3. I think it's just fine. I think it's like a good card, but to me it's just like slightly above in the level of hype. Wow, chat, you guys see like like something, you're like, yeah, paper bag blowing in the wind. I love that paper bag blowing in the wind. It's a good time. All right, Orific Theory. New poll. 3, 4, 5. All right, Orific Theory. This card's cool if I remember correctly. 2 cost, 1 experience, takes up a spell slot. It's a spell. Uses 4 secrets. As a lightning bolt, spend 1 secret. Choose any non-weakness treachery not attached to an elite enemy. Until the end of the round, treat that card's printed text box as if it was blank. Cool card. I'm not exactly hyped about it. I think the card's going to be good. And I think the card has like a lot of potential. Like, who would have thought that one of the best partners you could take an Edge of the Earth on a card? It's really good. It's just it's a good time. It's a good time. Like, I think that this one is really good with campaign dependency. It really kind of just depends on the campaign. But blanking treachery cards at the right time can be scenario winning. It just depends on what that scenario is, and also a lot of campaign knowledge. I think for me as well, this one is going to sit as a 3. I think the card is like exciting, but I don't think I'm like going to be running out of the house to play it. Chat does not like this card. So I gave it a 3. Chat gave it a 2.7. Chat was not hot on this one. This is the first card that chat gave below a 3 since Grievous Wound. That's wild. Chat does not like Orific Theory. All right, let's keep this one going. Map the area. I'll be honest, I forgot we spoiled this card. I was looking when this card came out. I was like, what the fuck is this card? I don't remember it. This was our card. We spoiled this one. I completely forgot about it. 1 cost event, map the area, insight tactic, investigate, add your brain or book to your skill value for this investigation. If you succeed in discovering clues of this location, attach map the area to it. Limit 1 per location, reduce the difficulty of all skill tests at attached location by 1. Scenario, yeah, what Tyler Gotch said. Scenario dependent, 100%. I think the card is fine. I'm going to give it a 2.5. It's just like a tech card that also a tech card that doesn't super interest me that much. And yeah, I'm with you, Dice Gods. I feel like the first thing that comes to mind is in Dunwich in Blood on the Altar. But even then, like, I then have to play a bunch of scenarios in the game with this in my deck before I can really take advantage of it. You can adaptable it in. It is true. It fits more into that adaptable world. $3.5. Oh no, sorry. There's a bunch that I missed as well. 2.215. 3.1. That's much more reasonable. Yeah. What a card. All right. Here we go. Our first dilemma. Heed the Dream. So from what I've seen in our Discord, the Discord's not too happy with these dilemma cards. Dilemmas, they have a revelation. Reveal the top card from each investigator's deck and place them in a pile. Repeat this 2 more times. Choose one of 3 piles. Each investigator draws each of their cards from that pile. Shuffle each weakness in each other pile into its owner's deck. Remove each other revealed card from the game. So the dilemmas, you basically have a revelation effect when you draw them, right? Like that's kind of that's their whole thing. This one, I think this one is, I don't remember the other ones, but I think this card is really good. Because in Survivor, you don't really have things to spend your experience on past a certain point. That's just how the class works. And then this card effectively says, you're going to only draw 1 card this turn, but everyone else is going to draw 2 cards this turn. And that's pretty sick. The best thing about this as well is that this one, unlike some of the other dilemmas, doesn't really require additional work, right? Like, you don't need to do anything. This just automatically happens, which is good, because the other ones, you have to, like, do some hoops. You have to, like, find the right thing or recur it from your graveyard in some way to then trigger it. This card just happens, right? I think as soon as this deletes a 5 XP card, this is getting banned. I mean, I think if people are worried about that, you just have to know that odds are the 5 XP card didn't make the cut because the other cards were better, right? Like, I think, like, people have too much focus on, I lost the 5 XP card, not that the 2 other people actually got a 3 experience card and another 3 experience card, and those cards are going to help us win the game. Or, I lost a 5 experience card, but someone else got a deduction, and that deduction is going to help us further. Or, like, a sharp vision, right? Like, I think that, like, people worry too much about that side of the card when I don't think that's really actually an issue. Because just, it was like that card wasn't even there in a way, right? Like, and if your deck crumbles because you lost that 1 card, I think that is kind of just more on the deck, right? It's kind of just more on the deck. Chat, you gave this one a 2.9. I think we're going to have a pretty big difference here. I'm going to... No, I was going to give it a 4, but I think I'm going to give it a 3.5. I think it's a good card, but I'm not exactly hyped for it, but I think it's good. I think it's a nice card. Yeah, as Tasty Toast says, like, that's the sage wisdom. If you just need to be aware that if your important card was removed, then the other cards were better. 100%. All right. Oh, my God. Another customizable card. Okay, Pocket Multitool. Oh, sorry, I need to put in my votes. Pocket Multitool. Okay. 3 cost. It takes my hand slot. During a skill test, you perform an exhaust Pocket Multitool. You get +1 skill value for this test. And then it has detachable. Other investigators may use it. What the fuck? Why did my Xbox just send me a text message? Pry bar, you get +1 skill value if this is during a treachery. You get additional if it's during an attack, evasion, investigation. After you fail a skill test, ready it. And then it's now a reaction ability. When you would fail a skill test, you can exhaust it. I think the card is fine. I think if you don't want to use your hand slots, it becomes actively good, if not great, right? I think, like, if you don't want to use your hand slots, this is a very nice spot for your hand slots. The limit 1 per investigator kind of sucks, to the point where I think that you only run 1 of them in your deck and then just, like, backpack it. Probably, right? Probably. It is a wild, so you could run 2, but I'd rather that be a backpack and then also grab, like, an emergency cache or the other items I need is probably the best way of going about it, right? I've run 2 in Patrice just to help find it. I could see Patrice running 2 because her deck's so big, and you're going to also just, like, draw through it anyway, right? I think maybe using single copies of upgradable cards is a weird efficiency area. I don't think this one... I do think, though, with respect to that, I do agree. Like, if you're going to run customizable cards, you probably want to run 2. But I do think with this one, there is a bit... It's not as much experience to get it going, right? Like, I do think that... I just think I'd rather have the other copy of this card be something that's more than just 1 wild icon in my deck, right? Because I think, like, that being the other card, it could just be something better. And especially now that the card pool is so good, it's probably just better to run something better, right? Yeah, but like it's very cheap on XP as well, right? It is one of the cheaper sides of this. And I also think it doesn't need much to get going, because even if you just spring load it, like that's really good, right? If I'm dumping XP into it, I think I want to if I also was backpacking. Yeah, but can't you just like run a better card over the card that you'll only commit for a wild? Like don't you want more from your cards, right? And like realistically, you don't need to put much in this to make it worthwhile. Like I said, you just need spring loaded. That's why people fucking like go nuts over Granny Orn's upgrade ability, right? Spring loaded and magnifying lens, yeah. Yeah, I do spring loaded, and like probably the treachery would be my priority. Once again, this all comes down to personal preference, but I just want more out of my cards than just being a wild icon, right? I definitely like it. I like it's like, you know, it also depends if you have other items in your deck too. I think the card's cool though. I'm gonna give it a 3.5 for my hype level. All right, Chad, what did you give Pocket Multitool? I see a bunch of 4s, but I also see a bunch of 3s. I also see a bunch of 5s and a 2. You give it a 3.7. I think that's fair. I think that's a good level of hype for this card, I think. I think that's very reasonable. All right. Oh, chat's going to hate this one. I just feel it in my bones. Predator or Prey? Another dilemma. Revelation, if there are no enemies in play, draw one card, otherwise you must decide. Each unengaged enemy moves once toward the nearest investigator. Each investigator disengages from each enemy, engages them, and moves once away from the nearest enemy. You know how I said chat was going to be pretty low on this one? I am also pretty low on this one. I think I'm going to give this one a 2 for me. Like, I can see the magical Christmas land where this card does something, but it's magical Christmas land for a reason. And even though I said earlier in the video, Christmas was coming, even then, to echo what Tasty Toast was saying, even when it's really good, it's like not even that good, which is kind of funny, All right. Let's see how this one goes. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and then 2 2s. A 2.5. So currently chat is the lowest, still on Grievous Wound. Grievous Wound is still the least hyped card on chat's perspective. All right, now we're starting to get into cards that I do not remember. El Rubash. Hello, I am El. Oh, CJM, thank you so much for the description. Welcome to the Golden Table. Another month with your Twitch Prime. Thank you so much. 23 months with your Bezos bucks. I really appreciate the support. Sorry, I was kind of brain flooded on the intro, but thank you so much for the support. All right. 3 cost, 2 experience, takes up the ally slot, 1, 2. You get +1 skill value resolving a skill test on an attached asset. 1 doom on each attached asset does not count towards the agenda's doom threshold. Lightning Bolt exhausted. Choose an asset in your play area with 1 or more doom on it. Attach it to El Rubash or switch it with an attached asset. Card seems sick. Yeah, amazing for the Doom archetype. And I'll echo what some people were saying in chat earlier. I think one thing that the Scarlet Keys is doing very well with the cards that have been spoiled is that the cards are very good for specific archetypes, but generally not like... I think Edge of the Earth had a lot of cards that now in retrospect were like, whoa, those are a bit much. And I think this one, from the seeming, like how it's going, it looks really nice. I think that I'm going to give this one a 4. I'm pretty excited for Elle. I think she's going to be very good in her archetype, and I'm actually very excited to play with her too. I think she's going to be a very good time. And chat, I did this wrong. I was like, there's no way chat gave her a 3. It's a 4.3 for her. I was like, there's something wrong here. All right. I mean, like, even if there's no Doom in your deck, it's just a Holy Rosary. She's like a Holy Rosary for your 6th Sense. Or your Wither. Oh my god, is that allowed? Alright, we are now on Thieves' Kit 0. Alright. 3 cost, takes up a hand slot. 6 supplies. Spend a supply, investigate. You may use your foot instead of book for this investigation. If you succeed, gain 1 resource. Alright. That asset has to be doomed to be eligible to attach. Am I a fucking idiot? No, I'm a fucking idiot. What a shame. Hello. This card. Okay, I'm making my called shot right now. And I don't even care if I'm wrong. I don't care if I'm wrong. I think this card and its upgraded versions are going to be game-changing. I think they're going to be absolutely game-changing. Am I hyped for them? No. I'm not. Because it's kind of just like, on its tin, kind of like a boring card. But I do think they're going to be very good. But I think some of my hype is also just like the pure efficiency of the card, right? And this is why, like, when people were saying like the upgraded version wasn't that good looking, I think the upgraded version's kind of insane. And like, I could be absolutely wrong here, but I just truly feel like these cards are really nice. They're really nice. I'm gonna give it a 4. I'm giving it a 4. Chat gave it a good score, so let's see what chat thinks of this one. Oh, chat, you freaking adore this card. .6. This is your highest rated card outside of Daryl Simmons. That's wild, chat. You love it. I mean, I'm for it. I'm all for it. I think Thieves' Kit's a great card, and I'm excited to play with it. Not another freaking customizable card. There's just so much text. Damning Testimony. Takes up a hand slot, because you have to hold it in your hand. Exhaust Damning Testimony and choose an enemy at your location. Investigate. If you succeed, you may spend 1 evidence to discover 1 initial charge at the chosen enemy's location. Search warrant. While investigating using Damning Testimony, you may ignore any effect or keyword on the investigated location that would trigger. Testimony, it enters play with 2 additional evidence on it. You get +2 book while investigating using Damning Testimony. When you successfully investigate using Damning Testimony, you spend 1 evidence to automatically evade the chosen enemy. Surveil. You may use Damning Testimony's ability to investigate the chosen enemy's location instead of your location. Expose. When you successfully investigate using Damning Testimony, you may spend X evidence to discard the chosen enemy if the non-elite X is not its remaining health. Take that, Kimani! Evidence that Daryl is too clean to use? Yeah. Okay. I mean, honestly, the card's really good, right, chat? It does cost 4. Like, it does cost 4. But it's in green, where money, like, literally falls out of their eyeballs. So I think this card's very good. I'm just trying to think of, like, where it lives for me in my rating scale. I think I'm gonna give this. I think I'm gonna give it a 4. I'm not hyped on it to the levels of like Kimani Jones and Daryl Simmons. Like, to get like a 4.5 from me, you gotta be like game changing for me, right? But I think the card is very, very, very good. And I'm excited to play with it. I think the card's going to be an absolute wild time. Chad, on the other hand, is kind of mild on this card. Chad gave it a 3. Can you please point out if the winged horror from beyond the moon is in this courtroom? That's good. That's clever. That's funny. I like that. Oh yeah, this card. Fighting lessons. It's practiced. Commits for a fist, a foot, and a wild. Commit only during a skill test or an attack or evasion attempt. That makes sense with the icons. You can commit this skill test to an investigator's test at any location. So I think in the homes that want it, this card is going to be good. I think otherwise, the card is... I mean, so like realistically... No, I'm not going to even say what I was going to say. If like... Because I was going to say, if you were evading, you might want to run this over, like, if you like are going to plan on evading even once, this is like probably worth it over like a manual dex. But even then, like if you're evading a bunch, like why are you even playing this? Because you probably have better tools and you're also probably a rogue, and Leo Anderson's not going to really try to use the evade here. I think in Carson Sinclair, obviously this card's going to be good. I am going to give it a 2 though. I think the card's kind of poop soup. I give it 2.7. I think the nominee want this one. You do want this. It's very solid. Yeah, but Tasty Toast solid is not a 4. This is what I said in Discord yesterday, that there's the Justin scale for like, and that's like when we meet in the middle. Like when you say fine, when you say good and I say fine, they meet like that. That's a balanced analysis right there. Salvage, otherwise known as the guy that looks like my dad. I didn't give it a 4 though, so I'm clean. Oh, I thought you did. That's on me, Tasty Toast. That's on me. Salvage, 0 cost, 2 experience. It's an event. Commits for a book. Choose an item asset in your discard pile and either remove that asset from the game and gain resource to a cost equal to its cost, or play that asset. So I was recently playing a Will Yorick deck. And I was like, man, I would kill for this card in that deck. And I think that's a sign that this card is going to be pretty good. I don't think it's going to be game-changing. I think the card's going to be a good time. I think I'm going to enjoy playing it. I think there's a lot of potential for this card to just be like, have a wonderful home in a lot of decks. I'm going to give it a 3.5. I think the card's good though. I think Salvage is a good time. I like the flexibility. Yeah, the flexibility is really good. I think there's a lot to like about that card. And chat, you gave it a 3.8, which I think is a very fair rating for it. I know I'm the average of your voices, but I am judging. I mean, that's my name. I'm Justin. I judge. Will Yorick's dad fixing his shovel? Ain't that the truth? 1 in the chamber, baby. One in the chamber. All right, so first off, let's ignore that this man is dead. Like, he's fucked. He's dead. 1 cost event. Fortune Tactic, fast play at the end of an attack or effect that spends the last ammo from a firearm asset. Add 1 ammo to that asset, you get +3 skill value for your next attack with that asset this round. I think the card's good if you are playing like a big-ass weapon deck and you just want more of that weapon. But I think it's just fine. I'm going to give it a 2.5. It's kind of just sitting right in the middle for me. It's just kind of sitting right in the middle. Like, I think the card's going to have a home, but a card having a home is a lot less than being, like, above a 2.5. I think, anyway. All right. Chat, you gave it a 3. I think that's fair. I think that is fair. Ain't gonna complain about that. So the tactic of an extra ammo is a supply. That's because not planning ahead is a tactic. It's a very sound tactic. Sin Eater. Let's go. Oh, shit. See if you can guess what my shortcut keys are for moving between slides. All right, Sin Eater. Sin Eater, 3 experience, permanent, exceptional, exhaust it, move 1 Doom from your asset control to Sin Eater, then either ready that asset or place 1 charge on it. As an action, you can remove all Doom from Sin Eater. Card's going to be good. Card is good. I think I've said it before, but I'm not going to say it again. I think the card is just slightly too good. But I think the card is going to like have a it's going to be a house in it's going to be a house in any sort of Doom decks. Like, it's going to be absolutely wild. Card voted most likely be tabooed at its prom. I don't think so. My gut says I don't think it's going to be tabooed. Because I don't think it's, like, crazy. Like, I don't think it's broken. I just don't like the design space that the card exists in, if that makes sense. Check you at a 4.4. What am I going to give it? What do I want to give Sin Eater? The art's beautiful. The art is absolutely beautiful. I am going to give it a 4.5. I think. No, I'm going to give it a 4. I'm hyped about it. I'm mad about it, but I am excited to play with it. Yeah, I just think, like, my problem with it is more like the design of permanence. I think permanence should do less, not more. So I think this card could have been 2 exceptional, and just move the Doom, but not ready or place charges, I think. I think it would be cool if it had a bonded enemy. That would be really cool! That would be sick. That would be sick. No! Not another... A customizable card. So much text. I'm going to have to take a break soon. Alright. So it takes up a hand slot, cost 2, customizable, 3 supply. Spend a supply, choose an investigate location in test book 1. If you succeed, that investigator performs one of the following actions. Draw 2 cards. Gain 2. Investigate. 2 resources, not 2 investigators. You can heal 2 damage. You can heal 2 horror. You can place a charge on a secret or a charge or a secret on an asset you control. You can move 2 times. Interplay with 2 additional supplies. When you initiate this skill test, you may increase its difficulty by 2. If you do, increase the value of the effect granted by each option by 1. If you succeed by 2 or more, the chosen investigator may perform 2 different options instead of 1. I like this card, although I would like it more if it wasn't customizable. Dude, that's fucking deep. Because I think I agree with you. Yeah, I think the card first supports Seeker. It's good. But I'm not exactly hyped for it. And I also don't think... See ya. Have a good shift at work. I don't think it's going to be bonkers. So, like, my hype for it is relatively low, and my, like, power level for it is relatively low. But I do think the card is enticing. I think it's enticing enough. No, I'm going to give it a 3. Who am I kidding? Because I was like, I'm going to give it a 3.5, but then I heard Travis's voice in the back of my brain saying, "You're not going to play this card. What do you do?" and giving it a 3.5. And honestly, he's right. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to give it a 3. I think I'm going to give it a 3. And what's chat going to give it? Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chat gave it a 3.2. I think that's a very fair rating. I'm here for it. Yeah, and I actually... Who said that? That was... Monocle Man. I've also been playing a lot of 2-player, so this does go down in value because of that as well. But I think in 3 or 4-player it becomes really nice. Existential Riddle. This card's cool. One cost, event, parlay, choose a non-elite enemy at your location, test brain or book. 8. This test gets -1 difficulty for each other card in your hand. If you succeed, automatically evade the chosen enemy and attach Existential Riddle to it. Attached enemy gains aloof. Why is Gug? But why is Gug? I want to see the deck that flexes on the game and passes this with 0 cards in hand. Doesn't that seem fun? I think the card's really good, though. I think it's exciting. I also really love the design space that it opens up for Seekers and enemy management that isn't just outclassing Guardian, Rogue, Mystic, or Survivor enemy management. I think it's a very nice design because Aloof is definitely better. It's worse than Killing, obviously. And there are times when it's better or worse than Evading, which is very interesting. Yeah. I think the card is cool. I'm going to give it a 3.5. Because it doesn't like change, like bust things open for me, but I think the card is really neat. And I'm excited to see Travis play with it. Because if there's one thing Travis loves, it's big hands. 3.9 from chat. I can agree with that. It honestly is leaning towards a 4 for me, but I'm living on a 3.5. Because whoa, I'm halfway there. Whoa, I'm living on a prayer. All right, chat, we're going to do this. We're going to do one more card, and then we're going to take a little break, okay? Just so I can, like, stretch my legs, get some water. String of Curses. Oh, let's go. All right. One cost event, parlay, choose a non-elite enemy at your location, and either choose one. Automatically evade that enemy or place 1 Doom on it. It cannot take damage for the remainder of the round. Discover 1 clue at your location. If that enemy has 1 or more Doom on it, defeat it. Gain 1 resource for each Doom that was on it. Hello. This card is really good. While I definitely don't think that this card is an auto-include, I think it's very good in certain campaigns. It's very good in certain investigators. But also just like everything about this card is very, very, very good. Even just placing a Doom and then discovering a clue. And while you can't defeat it that round, you can just like not do that if it would advance the agenda. And then also just like this is now like a resource card in purple decks that can do this. Best double target in the game is very good double target in the game. I think this is going to be my first and potentially only, I don't know, 5 for a player card. I am beyond hyped for this card. I think the design is beautiful, and I think that it is just very good. I think the card's very good. Yeah, no, they knocked it out of the park with that one. All right, I'm pausing the video. Don't go anywhere, YouTube. It's going to be a second for you. I hope you can last. Okay. We are on the Ravenquill. It's an item relic upgrade 3 cost event. It's customizable. When you purchase a Ravenquill, name a tome or spell asset and record that name on its upgrade sheet. Attach it to a named asset you control. When you resign or the game ends, either mark a checkbox to the Ravenquill's upgrade sheet or reduce the experience cost to upgrade the attached asset but for the next scenario by 1. Living Quill, it's using the attached actions. The asset's action ability does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Does not take up any slots. You get +2 skill value. Name 2 more tome or spell assets. The Ravenquill gains as a lightning bolt exhausts the Ravenquill. Move 1 secret to charge from an asset control to an attached asset. Interwoven ink. After you resolve an action ability on an attached asset, you may exhaust the Ravenquill to ready another asset control. When you play the Ravenquill, instead of attaching it to a named asset you control, you may search your deck and discard pile in hand for a copy of the named asset and play it, paying its cost, then attach the Ravenquill to it. So, I'm going to be real. This card is like outside of my pay grade. I look at this card and I just think, what do I do with it? And for that reason, I'm not too hyped by it, but I understand that that is completely a me thing. So I think because of that, my grade is going to skew lower. Just because of that. Because I don't really know what to do with it yet. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, Monocle Man. Someone's going to figure out a broken interaction, but I'm not smart enough to figure it out. Amen. Amen. It's not really a Justin card, but I can respect that it's probably going to be good, so I'm going to give it a 3.5. We're pretty confident that it's what? It's only two customizable cards per class, right? Like, we're pretty confident that's, like, finalized almost at this point now. Chat gave it a 4. Give it a 4. I think there's 3. Oh, yeah. Seekers have 3. Seekers have 3. We've seen 2 of the Survivor ones. Have we seen... So it's 3 per. Interesting. Okay. What's next? Hit and Run. Sleight of Man. Otherwise known as the assassination of Jeremiah Kirby by the coward Chuck Fergus. Fast, spell under your turn. 1-cost event. Put an ally asset from your hand into your play. At the end of your turn, if that asset is still in play, return it to your hand. Otherwise known as Sneak Attack from Lord of the Rings. Otherwise known as Sleight of Man by Bryn. Otherwise known as Hit and Run by the designers of Fantasy Flight card games, the Arkham Horror the card game. Card's obviously bonkers. Has a lot of potential to do a lot of really gross things. It killed Jeremiah Kirby, which is unfortunate because Jeremiah Kirby was a good card that I thought was like fair for his cost. Art has a complete lack of understanding for how firearms work. How do firearms work? I don't know how firearms work. Yeah, I think the card's going to be bonkers. I'm going to give it a 4.5. I'm going to give it a 4. I'm going to give it a 4. No, I'm going to go at 4. Let's go 4.5. I believe in the card. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be better. Because, like, the card is, like, pretty reasonable in Lord of the Rings. But I think it should be, it'll be really, it'll be pretty powerful as the game keeps moving. Tool Belt. I have my Tool Belt. Alright, 2-cost asset takes up the body slot. Each attached asset takes up no slots, and its text box is treated as if it was blank. Exhaust it, choose one, attach a tool asset in your play area to Tool Belt, switch a tool asset in your play area with an attached asset, or detach an attached asset. Cool card. I think it's a cool card, and I think that it's a fun card. I don't think it's particularly exciting. I understand that, like, a lot of people are like, ooh, like, there's a lot of good things we can do with this, but it's not really what I want to be doing. But I do think the card's cool. I'm going to give it a 3 for me personally. I have nothing against the card, but I also have nothing for the card. But I do think I'm more than average hype for it. I think that overall, I think the card is going to be fun to play with, but I don't think it's going to be particularly powerful or even efficient in my mind. Like, it might be, but I just don't think so. 3.6 from chat. A 3.6. Okay. No, not another customizable card. just so much text. All right. It's a 2-cost, limit 1 per investigator. At the start of the round, choose one of the following criteria for this round. You fail a test by 2 or more. You succeed a test by 3 or more. When the chosen criteria is met, you may exhaust it. If to add 1 evidence to it, you can spend an evidence to draw 1 card. Pessimistic outlook. You run out of cards in your hand. You are dealt damage or horror. You discard a treachery enemy from play. You enter a location with 3 or more shroud. The chosen criteria is met if any investigator meets it. Other investigators may trigger the lightning bolt abilities on empirical hypothesis. Research grant, spend 2 evidence, reduce the cost of the next card you play for this phase by 3. That's really powerful. Spend 3 evidence, discover 1 clue at your location. Also really good. After you exhaust it, you may resolve its forced effect, choosing a criteria you have not chosen this round, then ready it. I think this card is gonna... I think this card is... It's too good. This card gets a 5 from me. You know how I said that only String of Curses was like a 5? I think this card is not only going to be very fun for me to play with. This is like exactly what I want to be doing in the game, first off. But number 2, it's also just really good. You succeed a test by 3 or more at least once as a seeker. So you're going to get an evidence on this at least once a turn. As soon as you get to alternative hypothesis, you can do it multiple times. In addition, you also could just like do the freaking field research is probably going to trigger a lot too. I think that the card is just a really, really, really powerful card, and I'm excited to play with it. So to me, that is like a combination, the 2 of 5 level hype. I think that the once again, I have to just say the tentacles on the skull are made of bone. Just so we all never forget that when you see the card. You always need to remind yourself on that. I don't think that it's going to be like I also think that with customizable cards, you never need to go to 10 experience. I think that they can run at like a pretty comfortable like 3 to 7, like pretty much depending on what you want to be doing. That you don't need to spend like crazy amounts on it, I think. Anyways, you guys, chat, I gave that a 5. Chat, you gave it a 4. Let's keep this show going. No, not another customizable card. Yeah, peer review seems really good. Grizzled, customizable, commits for a while. When you purchase it, record 2 traits. If there's a skill test on or against an encounter card, Grizzled gains Wild for each of the chosen traits the encounter card possess. Specialist, choose another trait. Specialist, choose another trait. Nemesis, if this skill test is on or against an enemy with a chosen trait and the test is successful, you may attach Grizzled to that enemy. Reduce the difficulty of a test on or against the attached enemy by 1. Mythos Hardened, if this is on a treachery with a chosen trait and the test is successful, you may add both Grizzled and that treachery to the victory display. Always prepared, after you draw an encounter card with a chosen trait, return 1 copy of Grizzled from your discard pile to your hand. So, as people always say, Elite is a trait. Elite is a trait with this card. And that is funny. I think this card is certainly cool. I think that the card has the potential to be very helpful. I don't think it's like bonkers good. I think it's like nice and like reasonable. And my height for it is kind of a bit above average. Let me just think. I think I like the Mythos Hardened part of it more than anything else. And the most important thing that people need to remember with this card is that it is a skill. So like skills are like, I know this has some built-in recursion, but by built-in recursion we mean 5 experience, which is a lot. I think that yeah, for like Circle Undone, picking Spectral is a very good card. Also like just like even like whatever all the stuff like the hexes, right? A lot of really good stuff there. I think that overall though, I'm going to give this one a 3. I'm kind of just like all right on it. I'm kind of just, it's there. And chat, you gave it a 3.3. Card's fun though. It is fun design. Ghastly Possession. Spooky, it's a ghost. Alright, it's a skill, 1 experience, commits for a wild, innate, and spell. After you commit Ghastly Possession to a skill test on an asset, choose 1, place 1 doom on that asset, it gains wild. If this test is successful, either remove 1 doom from that asset or replenish half of its uses rounded down. Card's actually pretty good, isn't it, chat? Card's actually pretty good. Like, even outside of the doom archetype. Like, the card's just good. Yeah, it's just a good card. Like, I'm not even going to talk about in terms of, like, the removing doom part of it, because I think this is, like, you probably want this mostly to replenish. And then, like, if you're going to win the game, it's just, like, 3 wilds, right? Cool for Silas and then a Harpoon. What would you want to replenish with the uses for that? I'm just curious. Because I'm here for Astute Dunsparce. What are we going to replace? No, you just do the top? Oh, and just get 3 wilds? I think, honestly, though, I think there's better things you can do in Silas than that. Because, like, then it's just 3 wilds. Like, that's... You're going to probably pass the test. You're Silas fucking Marsh. You're Silas Marsh and you're doing a fist and a foot test. Yeah, Silas and Chainsaw seems really good. Because then you could just pull it back if you fail. I'm down. I'm giving this card a 4. I think the card's really good. And I'm actually like kind of excited to play with it. And I think I want to try it in Silas, as everyone's saying. Which is like all good signs, right? Chat, you gave it a 4.3, which I think is also a fair rating. It's a spell. It is. So Silas Marsh can... The spell-slinging Silas Marsh. Let's go. Calculated risk. All right. Okay, calculator risk. It's a skill. Commits for nothing. Commit to only to a test you're performing any type of, and only during its turn. It gains 1 wild for each action you perform this turn. After this test ends, end your turn. It is probably a good card. It doesn't exactly entice me or excite me. I saw the jokes about like, not the jokes, the weird janky over the top Tony deck or something where you get like 27 icons on this. 26 action Tony Morgan, yeah. It sounds like a fun time, but absolutely not what Justin does in this game. Has there been an official ruling on if this works with Frozen in Fear? It's the inverse take the initiative. We should call it the lose the initiative. That's funny. That's actually very clever. I'm going to give it... Like, if it... The problem is, like, if you're running it for Frozen in Fear, it doesn't do anything in the Mythos phase. Why I want to work in Frozen in Fear? Well, last time I asked, because I was like, this works in Frozen in Fear. Everyone was like, I don't know. So I was just wondering if that I don't know is changed into Confident Bravado, which it apparently has changed into just Confident Bravado. So I'm happy to hear that. I'm going to give this card a 2.5. It doesn't interest me at all. It doesn't interest me, but I also don't hate it. 2.4. I mean, if you're planning on getting Savant, like, right away, this can be your, like, reverse Savant. If you're worried about Frozen in Fear, I can see it's being its home. What the hell? A new card. Guess when I was making slides and this card came out. Alright. Disguise. 3-cost asset. 4 supplies. Talent, trick, illicit. As an action, spend a supply evade. You get +2 foot, and for this evasion attempt, if you succeed and the evaded enemy is non-elite, it does not ready during the next upkeep phase. That card's really fucking good. If you want to be evading, this card's really good. Yes, please, evading is very fun. We'll agree to disagree, but that's okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously the card seems sick. I think it's going to have a lot of homes I think it's going to have a lot of homes. Like, I think the card's really efficient as well. I think it's very efficient. It's kind of, honestly, like, people might disagree, but this seems kind of crazy for a level 0 asset. Because, like, doesn't it kind of just, like, almost completely, like, outclass Slip Away for the majority of cases, right? Like, because Slip Away is a good card. We like Slip Away. Why would this work on non-humanoids? Because you're dressed up like a Gug. You have a Gug outfit. I think the card's really nice. Let's see what chat gave it. Because I haven't read this card before right now. Chat gave it a 3.6. That's pretty. I was going to give it a 3.5, so I think that's a good thing. Because also disguise requires an action to set up. That is true. That is true. But then you get, like, that one action equals 4 copies of Slip Away. That's wild. And Slawless. No, Disguise is a wild card. That 3.5 could definitely change when I do my retrospective at the end of the release. Good card though. Good card. Quick Getaway. There's nothing quick about it. I'll tell you that much right now. Alright, Quick Getaway. 2-cost event. Trick. When an enemy attacks you, evade. Attempt to evade the attacking enemy. If you succeed, cancel that enemy's attack. It commits for 2 foot. So let's not bring that down. I think the only thing, though, is, like, I'm not really trying to run dodge anymore, right? The art's really cool. I like the Nightgaunt in the background. The artist did a really good job with, like, the action pose of the Nightgaunt on that. I'm gonna go... with a 2. I'm gonna go with a 2. I think this one is, like, below curve for what I want to be doing. And it doesn't exactly hype me or excite me. Chat gave it a 3.1. I almost gave it a 2.5, so I don't think a 3.1 is too crazy. Yeah, no, this one's not for me. It's not for me. Thieves Kit 3. Alright. So what does this kit do differently? You get 6 supplies, which is the same. It costs 3, which I think is the same. It's 3 experience, which is different. You get +1 skill value, which is different. And if you exceed by 2 or more, you gain 2 resources instead of 1. I gave Thieves Kit 0 a 4. And I'm living in the exact same world. I don't think it's like... I think it is better, and I think the upgrade is really nice. Like, getting potentially 12 resources out of this is very doable and very good. It's a lot of resources. But I don't think it's, like, worlds better. I don't think it's, like, worlds better. Sophia can replenish 3 of its uses with that skill card. That is kind of... That is interesting. That is interesting. Because then it just gets those, it gets a lot of juice. It gets a lot of juice. This is a low impact upgrade, but still very good. I think it's, as I said earlier, I do think it's less, I think it's more, it's a bigger upgrade than people are giving it credit for. Like, if I'm playing a big money deck, this is probably going to be pretty quick after my, Well-Connecteds and my Black Fan. And, of course, my Unscrupulous Loan, because that card's just busted. All right. Chat gave it a 4.2. All right. The Hallowed Chalice. The thing I'm most excited about is to see these hype ratings at the start when I do my retrospective next summer, because I want to see how my opinions on the cards have changed. That's my favorite part of playing this game. Constantly learning, constantly improving. Anyway, here's Hallowed Chalice. 3 cost, takes up a hand slot. Choose an investigator location and either choose 1 as an action. Exhausted and place 1 doom on it. Heal 2 damage or 2 horror from that investigator. Heal 1 damage or 1 horror from investigator. If you heal the last damage or horror from that investigator, remove 1 doom from Hallowed Chalice. I'm going to say drink from the chalice every time I use this. I think as level 0, it'll work in Doom decks that want Doom in play. Like, specifically Marie. Like, if you're doing spells instead of using the Dowsing Rod. But I think that it's not the greatest. I'm going to give it a 2. I just don't think it's that's good. I don't want to give it a 1, because to me a 1, I need to actively hate the card, and I think I'm just, like, soft on the card. I imagine there is going to be an upgraded version that's going to mimic the Dowsing Rod and the Sickles upgrades. But yeah, I think the card is kind of just there. I'm going to give it a 2. This got 4 6s? So, sorry, 6 4s? Wow. Check gave it a 2.7. So, chat, your lowest card is still, I believe, Grievous Wound with a 2.2. Chat did not like Grievous Wound. I mean, I didn't either, in all fairness, so. I didn't either. Hidden Pocket. Alright. Hidden Pocket. It's a 1-cost event. It's an upgrade and it's illicit. Fast, play only during your turn. Attach your clothing or armor as you control. Attached asset gains. You have 1 additional hand or accessory slot. Your choice, which can only be used to hold an illicit asset. Good card. It's a fun card. I don't think it's going to like change the game. I think that it is better than average. I'm probably going to give it a 3. I think it's a fun card. I think it's a good card. And I think that it is going to just... I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of fun with this card. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about it. I just am excited to see what Bryn does with it. I'm excited for the meme deck where we try to like sew a bunch of pockets into one trench coat. Yeah, I think the card's fine. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Good, leaning towards fine. But I'm going to go with good right now. Chat has so much hype for this card. $4.2. Well, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Chat loves the jank a little bit. They love it. Idol of Xanatos. All right. 3 cost, takes up the necklace slot. When you are dealt damage and or horror, exhausted, discard up to 3 cards to your hand, cancel that much damage and horror. Finally, discard tech for the masses that isn't tabooed. Why am I blanking on the taboo? Idol seems broken. Good. I'm gonna be real. I think this card is obviously good, but I think it's good just for level 0 discard. Because it's so easy to not die in this game. Like, it's incredibly easy, especially in Survivor. I'm in my throat. Yeah, like it's very easy to just not die. Oh my god, I've lost my voice. Chad, it's over for me. Oh, it's coming back. It's coming back. Yeah, I think that it's just easy to not die. But I think the level 0 discard in a slot in red that's not too competitive. I think it's good. I'm gonna give it a 3. I'm not gonna go high. I'm tempted to give it a 2.5, but I'm gonna give it a 3. And chat, you're giving it a 3.4, which I think is fair. Okay. I think next we have Gurish. Okay, before we go any further, I'm just going to quickly search. Just because I want to, you know.
Gurish.
Gurish.
Girish.
Gurish.
Gurish.
Gurish. Okay, Gurish. All right, Gurish. All right. Gurish Kadakia. 4 cost. Gurish Kadakia may be assigned damage and a horror dealt to other investigators at your location. 3/3 soak, because the lightning bolts during a skill test performed by an investigator location exhaust him. That investigator gets +2 skill value for this test. If the test is successful, heal 1 damage or horror from Gurish Kadakia. Gurish Kadakia. I think the card's really cool. I think the card's also really good. I think there's a lot to love about this card. I think the one thing to not love about this card is that it's 4 experience. But I think that that's not too big of a deal because experience, as I often say, is handed out like candy now. I'm down for it. I'm going to give him a 3.5. Yeah, I'm going to give him a 3.5. Yeah. I could definitely see him being a 4, but I'm going to give him a 3.5. Gotta give them room for improvement, right? Someone gave that 4.2. Someone gave Gurish a 1. Hey! I know this guy. Underworld Market. 2 cost, permanent, exceptional. You get +10 deck size. Before drawing your opening hand, choose 10 illicit cards from your deck, shuffle them together, and place them next to Underworld Market as your market deck. At the start of your turn, reveal the top 2 cards of your market deck. You may spend 1 resource to draw one of them. Place the rest on the bottom in any order. I think this card's going to be very fun to use. I think the card's going to be a good time to play with. And I think that it's going to open up a lot of deck options. I don't think I'm like super hyped for it. I do think the card's going to be very fun, and I think it's going to be really good at expanding an archetype, but I'm not like excited for it on a power level perspective. I think it's going to increase the efficiency of your illicit decks and maybe even make fence a thing, but I'm not like doing cartwheels across the table or room for it. And I think I'm going to give it a 3.5. Just because I think it's fun. I think it's fun, but I'm not like particularly like empirical hypothesis levels of excitement for it. Is this the most Finn card? No, what Finn needs is more cards not in green that are illicit. Chat, you get a 4.5, which I think is entirely fair. I think that's entirely fair. All right. No, not more reading. I swear, I have like a fucking migraine from all this talking. Alright, Friends in Low Places, 0-cost event. When you purchase it, choose a recorded trait on its upgrade sheet. Look at the top 6 cards of your deck. For each look at the cards of the chosen trait, you may spend 1 resource to add that card to your hand. Shuffle the remaining cards into your deck. Okay. So it's kind of like a Captivating Discovery on its baseline, just with the rogue stuff. When you play Friends in Low Places, you may choose another investigated location to resolve its effects. Choose another trait. When you play Friends in Low Places, you may choose one of the looked at cards with both chosen traits to add to your hand without spending 1 resource. Nice. Bolstering, each card added to your hand gains a wild icon until the end of the phase. Clever, instead of shuffling the remaining cards in your deck, you may place each of them on top of your deck in any order. Oh, okay. Bryn, you can stack your deck, Bryn. Friends in Low Places gain fast. Increase the number of cards looked at by 3. You may play one of the cards added to your hand, paying its cost. I think this card's actually pretty cool. I think this card's actually really, really nice. What did I give, Captivating? I gave it a 4. I think it's kind of on par, but I think probably a little bit lower. Do we give this a 3.5 or do we match it with the other one? That's the question of the day. I think it's a little bit lower. I'm going to give it a 3.5. It is a cool card. It is a really cool card, and I like the versatile upgrade a lot. The versatile upgrade is really nice. With both chosen traits? Does that mean it has to have both of the traits? Let me choose one. No, so you get to choose one of each trait, right? You get to choose one of each trait? Yes, oh, it has to have both. Okay, that brings versatile down for me. If it has both traits, you can draw without spending. Okay, now that brings it down. Yeah, I'm going to sit on 3.5 then. I'm going to sit on 3.5. All right, chat. What did you give it? $3.8. Yeah, I think that's fair. Elicited items are pretty strong traits. Yeah, but at that point, I probably have them in my Underworld Market deck, right? I think the card's cool, though. I think the card's cool. What the fuck is this card? At a crossroads. It's a dilemma. Choose an investigator and decide. The chosen investigator must immediately take an action as if it was their turn, then discards 1 card at random from their hand. The chosen investigator loses 1 action during their next turn, then draws 3 cards. Oh, that card's sick! This card's sick, chat! This card's awesome! This card's fantastic! Yeah, this one's on par, if not better, than Heed the Dream, which I gave a 3.5. I'm going to give this one a 4. I think this one's really good. One less action for 3 cards seems good all the time. I agree, right? Like, baseline, that's really good. And then even if you don't need it, you can just get an extra action, and you could just choose yourself, and like basically like, that's okay, I'm down a card, but I turned basically that into a quick thinking that I didn't need to test for. I think the card's really good. I'm giving it a 4. I think the card's awesome. I'd be tempted to even go to a 4.5 if I had a, you know, I was a little bit tipsy, but I'm stone cold sober right now. When do you draw the 3 cards? I imagine you draw the 3 cards immediately. During their next turn when they lose the... Oh, yeah, because you lose the action. But I guess, yeah, that's a great question. Because to me, my instinct says... my instinct was first in the action. Then I was like, it has to be immediately. Because then that's the comma. But it's not then comma. It's just this. You're down 2 cards, not just one. You drew expecting a card, and you had to discard both this and another card. Yeah, but you're a survivor, so you turn that card into value. Yeah, at the Crossroads is great. This is, I think, that's my favorite dilemma. It's really good. Exploit weakness. That guy's getting fucked. That guy's getting absolutely fucked. He is dead. I know it's just a knee to the stomach, but this guy is dead. He has the Houdini-esque internal bleeding. Alright. 2 event. Fast. Play when performing a Chaos token during an attack or evasion attempt you're performing, and only if the difficulty of this test currently is 0. This test automatically succeeds. Instead of this test's normal effects, discard the attacked or evaded enemy. The enemy is elite, evaded, and deal 3 damage instead. I think this card is... I think it's missing a piece, isn't it? I feel like, because, like, if this was for clues, Poggy, right? But I think it's, like, missing a piece to really get it going. And it's that, I'll tell you right now, that piece is not anatomical diagrams. And I think that this one is, like, this is going to be, like, 2 with an asterisk. So I'm going to put 2 in an asterisk. Because I think that this card is going to get better. But at the same time, I think this card is just kind of... Even in, like, its best case scenario, I'm like, whoopee! I killed a ghoul. Right? I don't think it's that good. Like, I just don't think it's that good. Like, the enemies that you want to kill... I think that they're doing exactly what Lord Blink said. I think this card will read better than it plays. Unless the Lord Blink was talking about the dilemma. But, like, with Exploit Weakness, I think this card reads better. And I just don't think it's good. Like, I think the effect is pretty minor. Like, it's like, those -2... Like, those -2 guys, right? Like they have 2 evade or 2 fight. They have, like, 2 health on them. Right? Like, it's just kind of like... I think the Magical Christmas Land is... It's singing its song right now. Because I think the card is kind of just fine. To not good. So I'm going to give it a 2 with an asterisk. Wow, someone gave that a 5? Wild. 3.2, chat. You get that one a 3.2. Deep One Bull is 2 evade. Congratulations, you found the one card. And then you just sit on this one after that? I just don't think the card's great. I think the card's, like, not exciting. Eldritch Initiation. One event. For each arcane slot you have, draw 1 card, max 5. For each filled arcane slot you have, choose and discard a card from your hand. What a wild design, huh? What a wild design. I love this card because it looks... You, like, look at the Mystics, and they're like, hey, Mystics. Everything you know about the Mystic class, eat that. I think the card's good, though, in the class that wants it. I'm going to give it a 3.5. Yeah, I think the card's good. I think the card is pretty nice. I think it's a very nice card. Yeah, and as Dice Gods and then Super Fang backed up, even if this is draw 2, discard 2, it's still very nice. It's a very nice effect for 1 mana. Yeah, no, I think the card's good. 3.3 on chat side. They're a bit lower on it than I am. 1 mana, I heard it. It is 1 mana. Alright, what's next? It's everybody's favorite card. I don't know what this card does. Making preparations. It's a dilemma. Alright. Choose 2 skills. Until the end of the investigation phase, each investigator gets +1 to each of the chosen skills, and -1 to each of the other skill. It's foot bad. Yeah, was this the one that the Hypnos preview? I don't think this one. I mean, at level 0, I think this card is fair, but I don't think it's particularly exciting. I'm gonna give it a 2.5. I think the card's just fine. I think the card's fine. But I think the ceiling on this card is a lot lower than the floor is high. I think we're looking at like a card like this, you know? It's like, it doesn't really do much beyond that like spot that it's good in. Am I taking crazy pills? Chat gave 3 people gave that a 5-1 that one? 3.7. I didn't expect them there to be so many dilemmas. We gotta have a Bryn's Madhouse remake of Tree Deck with the dilemmas. The only unfortunate part about that is that it kind of just builds itself. I don't think Bryn will want to, but I'll definitely do a standalone where I do it. What the frick is this card? Oh, I remember this one. Nature of the Beast. I remember this one because of the art. I think the art does a really good job of painting what this card's supposed to do. All right. Nature of the Beast. It's a dilemma, 1 experience. Reveal the top 3 cards in counter deck. Choose an investigator, draw 1 of the revealed cards. Discard the rest. Then choose an investigator to discover 1 clue at any revealed location. I think this card's good. I think what makes it not good is that you can't control this one. Just, like, you have to discard... Like, you have to... Oh, you do discard the encounter cards. No, Concost, that's a good point. And I think the reason why... I think that with Survivor... The reason why it's a Survivor-only class is because Survivor can kind of do everything. I'm going to give this one a 3, I think. I'm going to give it a 3. I think that, like, it's good. No, I'm going to go to 3.5. I think it's good. I think it's good. I'm going to go 3.5. I think it's good, but I don't think it's, like, fantastic. I think it's a good card. And Jack gave it a 4.2. It's Drawn to the Flame, but not. Exactly. And I also, honestly, I'm not too hot on Drawn to the Flame anymore, so I think that's a fair rating for me. I'd give Drawn to the Flame a 3.5 now. Alright, what's next? Ceremonial Sickle 4. Alright, so this is like the last one. You get to place a Doom on it, you get +3 skill value and deal +1 damage. It defeats an enemy, ready it, and remove all Doom from it. I gave the original Ceremonial Sickle, what, a 3? Honestly, I think I'm in the exact same spot for this one. I'm just going to give it a 3 as well. We don't know the Dowsing Rod upgrade, right? We don't. Wink. We don't. Yeah, I think I'm going to give it the same as the level 0. I'm not really excited for more of the same. Like, my hype doesn't change. Like, if this card said, like, Ceremonial Sickle... Like, if it was, like, somehow, for some reason, a fucking Guardian card, then I'd be all aboard the hype train. But I think my hype is, like, pretty on par with the other one. So I'm going to give it a 3 again. You gotta eat your vegetables, Superfang. Chat gave it a 3.3. What did you give the original, the level 0? Chat, holy shit. So the original the level 0, I gave a 3, chat gave a 3.3. The level 4, I gave a 3, chat gave a 3.3. That's fucking wild, chat. That happened. That's actually kind of crazy. Oh, this card's poggy, isn't it? I haven't really internalized these cards because I haven't talked about them with Travis and Bryn, but I know this one's poggy because apparently it's pretty busted. All right. Research notes. 1 cost asset. Takes up a hand slot. Item Tome Science. After a player card ability places 1 or more of your clues on your location, place that many resources on research notes as evidence. Test book 0. For each point you succeed by, you may spend 1 evidence to discover a clue at your location. Ah. Wow. Wow. Yeah, it has the whole busted thing with knowledge of power. Knowledge is power, which they definitely need to put in the patch notes ASAP. But I think that this card is good. What a controversial opinion. I'm going to give it a 4. I love that it's great for Daryl as like a battery, but I think also just like what it's really good is this is like such a good piece. Yeah, really good for Daisy too, Super Fang. This is a really good piece in the place clues down on your location archetype, which was missing a huge like all the clues, all the cards that put clues down on your location obviously were good, right? Like they're good to make up for the fact that you're losing tempo. However, one thing that this is really good with is giving it like a payoff that goes beyond it, right? I think this is what that archetype was missing to really be an archetype that can take advantage of it, right? This might be so key for Daryl. We'll see at least research librarian's deck to tutor this. Hell, fuck yeah! I think that's an excellent call. I think that's very true. 4.1. Breaking and entering 2. All right. 2 experience, 2 cost event. Add your foot to your skill value for this investigation. If you succeed by 1 or more, you may automatically evade an enemy at this location. If you succeed by 3 or more, return it to your hand. This action does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Good card gets more gooder. Very strong. Honestly, chat, I'm giving it a 5. I don't care what anyone says. I think this is a fantastic upgrade to a card that is already from scenario 1 to scenario 8. This card lives in your deck when you're playing it. The card is very good. And, sorry, did I have... Who called me? Who called me? Spam? Okay. I think that this card lives like from scenario 1 to scenario 8, and it does as good of a job from point A to point B. And I think this is now an upgrade, and it becomes even better. I think the card's fantastic. I think that it's a fantastic upgrade, and I think it's just huge. Rita also is in fucking heaven. Rita is in heaven with this card. She isn't like breaking and entering 0 was really good in Rita. This now being a thing that she can use to continually loop it is really good too. Oh my god. Yeah, Chuck with this and breaking it and Trish will be really good too. Amen. Crafty pays for the breaking and entering every turn. Puke! Yeah, no, good card. Oh, chat, we're almost done. And it's going to be great. We're going to do this all again in the future, chat. Are you excited? Soul Sanctification. I remember this card is kind of neat. 3 experience, permanent exceptional. For every point of damage in a horror, you heal in excess of current damage. Place 1 resource on Soul Sanctification as an offering. This still counts as healing. Spend an offering, you get an unexpected courage for this test. Limit twice per test. Limit twice per test. It's very interesting. Because, like, what this card says, it says, hey, do you want to waste time now healing someone that you don't need to heal just to get unexpected courages that you might need in the future? I think that, though, its effect is fine. I don't think the effect is that flashy. I think I'm going to give it a 3. I think it's just like, it's basically wasted time now to have unexpected courages, right? This in Spirit of Humanity does seem pretty yuck. I think Carolyn is going to enjoy this. Yeah, no, I think I'm just going to give it a 3. I think it's just fine. I think it's because I said, it's just like waste time now to get unexpected courages later. Chad was all over the place for this one. Oh my god, Chad. I think we only have like 3 cards left. Oh, the end is in sight. Astral Mirror. Three cost, 3 experience, takes up a body slot. For each arcane slot for each of your arcane slots that are empty, you have 1 additional hand slot. You may take an additional action during your turn, which can only be used to play an asset into one of your hand slots. Yeah, the card seems good. I think the card's good. Yeah, I think it's a fun card. Yeah, I think it's a... What Tasty Joe's saying, you don't take in every Mystic. When you do, I think it's really good, and it's very good for off-class Mystics. It's very good for off-class Mystics. I could also see this for Dexter. I think this could go, yeah, I think this is what Bryn will... This is like the start of that Mystic Gunslinger that Bryn really wants to see. TBH. I think this is very good for it. I am going to give it a 3.5. I'm not really that excited by it, but I do think the card's going to end up being really nice. But I think it's a cool card. I think it's a really cool card. Is this the highest rated card? Chat, this is your highest rated card. 4.7. You are very excited for this card. You're more excited for this than any investigator. You're more excited for this than Charlie Kane. Alright. Embezzled Treasure. What the fuck is this card? Embezzled Treasure. 0 cost asset. It's an item in a list that exhausted as a lightning bolt. Move up to 2 resources from your resource pool to Embezzled Treasure. Okay, I remember now. To a maximum of 10. When you resign or the game ends, for every 2 resources on Embezzled Treasure, an investigator of your choice begins the next scenario of the campaign with one additional resource in the resource pool. Oh, it's like put it on layaway. This is like a bad investment. Like you put money in it and you get less back. I think the card's neat, though. I think there's going to be a lot of investigators that really love it. I think if you're playing big money, it's obviously... Maybe not, actually, because then you have to, like, spend your money so you're not actually big money. I think if you're a spending money deck, though, this is really nice. Yeah. I understand why it doesn't happen at the end of the game. So why it doesn't have the start of the game, because, like, it's just cleaner. I mean, I think it's a cool concept, though. I'm going to give it a 3. I think the card's fine. It's good. Doesn't exactly excite me, though. Doesn't exactly excite me. Chat is also pretty split on this one. We have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. What the fuck? Chat gave it a 3.3. Chat was all over. We had 3 4s, 2 3s, 2 2s, 2 5s, and a 1. That was the most conflicted I've seen you, chat. And I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Okay, we're almost done. We're almost done. Not that I'm not having a great time. This has actually been really fun. My head is tearing my brain into millions of pieces right now. Alright. Surgical Kit. 2 costs, 3 experience, 4 supplies. One of your effects heals damage from an investigator. Spend a supply. Either that effect heals 1 additional damage, or you draw a card and heal a horror. Double action, heal 3 for an investigator or ally asset at your location. Obviously, really good for Vincent. The turning all of your healing into card draw, or you get to, like, heal a horror is nice. The double action, I think the double action can be pretty good. I am going to give it a 3, though, because it's, I think it's good, but I'm not exactly, like, cartwheeling about it. The double click is really nice to deal with a sig weakness. Yeah, it turns a signature weakness into essentially just a double action. Yeah, I can see this card impressing more than my initial thought of it is, but I'm going to give it a 3. I think the card's fine. And Jack gave it a 4. All right, last card of the video. Now, I know you're probably thinking, but Justin, there are so many more cards that are spoiled at the time that this video came out on YouTube. Twitch, don't pay attention to this. This isn't for you. Yes, I will be doing this again in a few weeks, or maybe next week. I don't know whenever the video is going to come out, but we're going to do this for the remaining pieces of the cards, and then we're going to see how that goes. All right, so we're on Martyr's Van Brace. All right, 2 cost, 3 experience, necklace slot, 2 soaks for 2/2. You get +1 skill value, resolving revelation abilities on encounter cards. That's cool. After another investigate location draws a non-peril encounter card before resolving that card's effects, exhaust Martyr's Van Brace. You are considered to have drawn that encounter card instead. So, explain. So, yeah, it's just I'll handle this one on a stick. Let me handle this. Okay. Yeah, card's fine. I think the card's good. I think I'm gonna give it a 3.5. What do I care about for my accessory slot as a guardian? Honestly, if I'm a guardian who can pass encounter cards, I probably want Holy Rosary instead. But this also works for other ones, so like it's also good. It soaks for 2 and 2. It says at your location. Oh, that's what Safeguard's for, right? That's what Safeguard is for. It also can grab enemies. That's a good point. I'm gonna give it a 3. I don't think people are gonna play this card as much as they think they're going to. I think the card's just fine. And chat gives it a 4.3. Two and a half hours later, we're in the clear. So, let's look at this. So, my chat's lowest scoring card was Grievous Wound. I said it'd be a long one. Oh, I knew it'd be. I said it'd be a long one too, but I said it would not be as long as the other, the tier list videos, and I was correct. It is currently 35 minutes shorter than the shorter one. So Grievous Wound, chat, was your lowest score with 2.2, and your highest score is Astral Mirror with a 4.7. Well, yeah. The investigators you're most excited for is Daryl Simmons at 4.6. Of the four that we have their backs for, because we're still missing Carson Sinclair and Amina Zidane. That's her name, right? At the time of this video's recording. But however, I said we'll be doing this again once we get everything else, and we're gonna get this all done, and then I'm very excited to revisit this next summer. If you're watching on YouTube, I am going to put a link to the results for this, so you can easily look at as it's going, and you can kind of see, and then it's all just ingrained in video history. Other than that, that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you are looking forward to the next of this hype discussion videos with myself and chat, seeing what we think of this. And let me know in the comments, are there any cards that you completely disagree with in terms of chat's approval rating of it? Please let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one. And as always, a GG's.